Hi guys, Pixipui here, and today we're going to be learning how to animate a character head. So that means we're going to go from something like this to something like this. Hope you're ready. So in the description of the stream, there should be a link so you can grab the work files if you want to work alongside me. Otherwise, you can do this in post. The files will be there. But this is our still. Let's quickly take a look at our example to begin with. There we go. Just double checking a thing so I can see some messages. There we go. Hi Becca, hi Bliss, Team Pixi, yeah. Thank you Francisco. Hi Young Creatives. Okay, so let me pop up. Is that, but no, it's not. It's not. It looks like Parappa, but it's not. We're keeping this, you know, stock friendly. Hi Robert, welcome. So this is something I animated earlier. We're not necessarily trying to make it exactly the same. It can wibble wobble, it can be your own kind of thing. But since you're on Behance, the ones of you that are on Behance right now, the files are there if you want to work alongside me. Me. Robert, who? Oh! I mean, Joshua, welcome in, welcome in. Okay, so starting off with the character head first, even though it does look like Parappa, I know. Is it like a, welcome Alpha, Wade! Huge shout out to Wade Acuff, who hosted me the last time I was on Adobe Live, by the way. Okay, so in the files that I've given, I know there looks like there's a lot, there's a reason for this, and I've also purposely left out some things. So you're not only going to be doing animating, you're also going to be connecting things, just in case you're like, oh, this is great, but I need to do something else. We can do that. First things first, we're going to have to make the main part of the character move. Everything's going to follow the main thing. It's a follow the leader kind of thing. So the hair, the hat, all of that, it's actually going to follow the head. So the first thing we need to animate is the head. So let me go and find that. And I'm going to be looking at the rotation to begin. Thank you, Voodoo Val. Hi, Elizabeth. Welcome. PJ. Wendwa. Oh, I love your name. I'm not too concerned about the rest of the face. We're going to have to put the 3D layer on later. But I know I want the head to kind of be looking up, down a little bit, and then it can come back to the front. So I'm going to put my keyframe there. I'm just going to paste it to the side so I don't lose it. There's definitely other ways to do that, but this is the Pixi way. You're so pumped. Oh, Val! You're too kind. Oh, Elizabeth. Alrighty. So I want it to be like that for, oh, you know what? Before I animate it, let me move the eyes and everything else where they're supposed to be. So I've made a driver for the eyes. I'm just going to do the same thing that I did to the head. I'm just going to take the position, put them down somewhere so I know what it's supposed to be when I come back, because it does need to look at the camera again at some point. I'm just repasting it in 2 places to make sure it doesn't move, and I've made a container for the eyes, so when I move the eyes, they're not going to go off the center that they're supposed to go on. Same for the face. I've made it sure that it can't actually leave the head. I've not connected the eyes to the rest of the face, because what if I wanted to move the eyes without the face going? Normally when we turn our head or we look around, the eyes will go first, and then our head will follow. Let me just make sure I've not selected the whole row. There we go. So I want him to look to the side first. Disinterested. Looking somewhere else. Let's make sure we don't grab all of the files again, like I always seem to do. There we go. Now I can move the rest of their head. That's what we like. There we go. Much better. Move this further down so we don't interrupt it. There we go. Okay. Head. Do we start higher? We can start a bit higher. Up. Act it out for a little bit. So it'll be up. Could even add a blink in there. Up. Hold down. Yeah, why not? Ooh, that'd be a good idea. You think a pizza cursor should come? You know what? It's like, I think it's supposed to be a cheesecake. Like every computer I've ever had, I'm always there to customize it. It's always like, oh, you know what it could use? Customization. I remember somebody was confused because my taskbar's on the top as well. Everything's different over here. And a check. So we've got an up, and we've got a down. I think I'm probably going to want it to smooth its way down. I might not keep all of these frames, but I tend to add more frames and then remove them a little bit off. Oh, Elizabeth, what work have you lot been working on, by the way? Have you found, I'm not sure if it's just me, but have you found, as creators, I know we end up with lots and lots of projects and tasks we want to do, but sometimes they pile up. I've gotten to a point now where I'll just do it. Even if it doesn't look the best, I'll finish it. And it's like, okay, it's done. You can move on. It's okay if it doesn't look amazing. Because it reminds me of my MySpace days. Oh my gosh, you know what? Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And then you would go onto somebody's page and there would be music playing and you didn't know where the button was to make it stop because it wasn't your taste. So we got up. I might want that to hold a little bit longer. So I'm just going to drag this out a little bit. And going back to the first keyframe, let's click on the graph. And all I'm looking to do is prolong something. I'm not sure what yet, so I'm just going to tweak some things and see what I like. I'm going to take the keyframe that we put after it and just drag it down a little bit. See if that gives us... Let's see. I think I want it to hold, so I'm just going to move the keyframe back. Being in the graph editor allows us to tweak the curves. If it's kind of like a hill as well, this is the little person on the bottom of the hill, and you run up the hill, but because it's a hill, you go really slowly. But the closer you get, you go really fast. So it's a useful thing to keep in mind. What do you need to go fast? What do you need to go slow? That's our keyframe, so I know where the actual base is. So I'm just going to copy this keyframe and paste it and move it to the side a little bit. It's handy to have holds, even if you're just going to drag one keyframe down or up to make sure that it doesn't look completely flat, but that is really helpful. Blast from the past? Yeah, yeah. And that music would be loud. It would. It really would. You saw a tweet wondering if that could happen on Twitter. Wait, what? And someone was trying to find it. No. How do you feel about that? I'm not sure, Elizabeth. I feel like they've missed out. They've missed out on MySpace and all the crazy things. Do you remember all those places? What is it? Gaia Online? All of those things that came along with the MySpace. So we've got the up, down, then it's got to notice us. And then we want the head to come up and down. Blink. Oh, somebody's there. Paste another keyframe. I want it to move down, but not too far. So I'm going to manually move it for me. Down. Oh. And then it's going to move. So to make sure that we can move it correctly, I'm not too worried about the head moving. Sometimes, I will say, it is useful having the gigantic gap from where you want your first frame and last frame to be. Sometimes when you're scrubbing through, After Effects will give you this really nice middle pose that you would never have thought of. So the computer can do some of the work for you. So leave it there, scroll back and forth and be like, oh, I like this one. Then move over to keyframe and keyframe it. Yes. Question from Why Not on YouTube. Hello. Oh my gosh. Hi, Ace. Oh, hi, Why Not? Sorry. Do you know what hardware my computer has? The render's fast. Oh. I can look. Hold on. Bear with me. I can look. Thank you, Voodoo Val. I can look. 1 second. My computer was made for 3D work, actually. So that could be why After Effects might not be using as much as the 3D program would, which is very useful. Hold on. The young kids today will never know. Oh my gosh. Bliss said these young kids today will never know the feel of the gamble of risking it all to download music. The past was a sketchy time. Okay, so I might not know my GPU because oh no, hold on. You say my GPU or my CPU? I've got my CPU. I know I'm just gonna list out the stuff. Hopefully this is helpful. My CPU is an Intel Core i7. I didn't use the CPU cooler that I thought I had. I've got an Asus motherboard. Memory is a Corsair. Storage is a terabyte. Video card is a EVGA GeoForce 1060. I think that's probably one of those things. I hopefully was it. I don't know why, but I never know what the GPU is. The rest of it says what it is. Hi Ace, welcome. I hope you're doing well. Okay, so we got up, down. Oh, I want So we're probably gonna have to do position for some of this because the rotation can only go so far. I know we can't see the rest of it yet, but it's coming. Just see it in your mind for now. So we got that. We need it to roll. Could just be position based. We'll see. We're gonna add on as we go. I can tilt the head down a little bit. Rise, Might have to change the timing on some of these, so let's flip it back. One useful trick in After Effects, if you've made keyframes, it's not bad if you've made it and it's really slow or it's really fast. Just highlight all the keyframes that you want to adjust, hold the Alt key, and click and drag. Let me show you this on a bigger scale so you see what I mean. When you click and drag, it will drag all of them in perspective, but making them all faster relatively, or all slower relatively. So it's a very handy little trick. So it should come down around here. GPU, processor unit. Did I say the, thank you, Robert. Did I say the processing unit? I hope I must have done, because there was no other bit. Oh, hi, Silver. It's not Parappa the Rapper. What got me interested in animation? Ooh, that's a nice question, Elizabeth. Actually, there's a few things tied in with this. So my father is an entertainer, and he dances as part of his entertainment. And when me and my sister were younger, we would join in with the dancing. And I used to play a lot of dancing video games. And so it kind of all rolled into one where I was like, oh, okay, I wanna make things come alive and I want them to dance. And ever since then, that's kind of been, as an animator, that's been my only goal. It's literally been my only goal. I'm going to add an easy ease on this, so it's going to smooth its way in and smooth its way out. And let me see what happens. This means it will smooth its drop when it hits. Let me click the easy ease, take a little look. Is that what I want? Boom, boom. Could be nice, but... And then it's going to slam down. So let me copy and paste this and move it over. Hi, Storm! Shout out to the big sister. Parappa the Rapper was a fave of mine when I was a kid. Oh. Did you know that there was a Parappa the Rapper 2? Did you know? Because I didn't know. I'm not sure if it came out in the UK, but then later, like, they put it on PlayStation. It was like, oh my gosh, and I love it. Parappa the Rapper, Buster Groove, Space Channel 5, like, the greats. The greats, like. Oh, thank you, Elizabeth. I like it, but whenever you have a straight line in any direction, it means it's linear. Linear means it's going to slowly go there. It's like a car that you've left the gear stick off. It just slowly rolls, which is not what I want right now. It's not what I want. Not completely. It's not off. But, oh, there's something else we can do to stop that. If we highlight the keyframe we want, we can go over to the ease out option, which will give us a little anchor. and we can rotate that anchor to give us a bit of control. Now, if I put it up here, it means it's going to slow its roll while, because it's higher than the keyframe, it's going to go in the opposite direction and then slowly go down towards the other one. This rapper 1, 2, and Jammy Lammy, says Silver. Uma, welcome. Dorina, I love your name. Welcome, lovely. Don't worry about the face turning back. We're not ready for that yet. I might speed this whole thing up. Oh, la ba. Yeah, so this whole bit, this needs to speed up. That's cool, but it's slow. That's not the bit that was slow. I just noticed now. Cool, that's not the bit that you want to slow down or speed up. Let me move these, grab these. Okay. The face is getting me, you know. Okay, it's all gonna come together, don't worry. Blah, blah, oh, ta-da. And then face comes back. Okay, we got it. We got it. The rotation of the head is good. The rotation of the head is good. Now we can start to fix some other things. Yay. Let's do the position. The next thing I'm gonna do after I finish doing the head, I might add a squash and stretch on the head. So there's other ways to do squash and stretch, like with the puppet tool, but we're not going to use that. Very rarely, I'll try not to use the puppet tool sometimes. An easy way to do a squash and stretch is just to use scale. Make sure the anchor's at the bottom of whatever it is you want to squash and stretch. Put the scale on and just do the height. How do you animate the head turning from profile to front? Oh, that's going to be the fun part, Darina. So what we're going to do, it's an illusion. We are magicians as animators. So we've kind of seen a tiny bit because of the face turning back, but we've connected the innards of the face to the outside of the head so the features can't actually leave. Even if they tried to, they can't leave. All they can do is go further to the side, except I've allowed the nose to go over. So when the eyes or the head is being moved to the side, it kind of looks like it's looking at us from different directions. So really, the head's kind of staying the same, but because everything else is moving, your brain wants it to make sense. So it's going to make it make sense. Yeah, exactly, exactly. It's just a transpose. Yes, a transpose. Just ooh, So yes, we are magicians. Pretty much your only aim is to fool the eye, and the eye will do a lot of work for you. You don't really have to do that much. But we are going to hop to it. And then we'll add some 3D layers so we can turn some things to make it look like we've turned it even more, but we really haven't. So I wanted to do some position to the head just to give it a little once over. Let's press the U button. If you do want to work alongside me with these files, they are actually on Behance. Download them, do what you will. Oh my God, so simple. Yeah. Yes, Darina. Thank you, Storm. Reminds me of a rig I used ages ago. Tell me about that rig. Oh, Haggai, welcome. Welcome to the stream, lovely. Okay, so gotta act it out. Hold on. Okay, so imagine if it was where it was. I'm just gonna move this so I don't want to start there. I'm going to copy it and paste it to the end. And my head kind of came out. There we go. Maybe too much. Let's go into the graph editor and I'm just gonna pull it down. I want a bit of movement. This is some of my 3D tips coming out to you now, but when you're doing 3D stuff, when you're animating, if it stays still, people can tell. They don't know what's wrong, but they know something's wrong. So I tend to keep making things move, even when they're technically still, even in 2D. Even 2D, we don't have to. We seem to just accept it, but if you add kind of little tweaks so it's sort of alive, humans in general don't really stay still, so it just kind of add a little bit more to your ting. Papa the rapper, hi Jennifer. No, it's not. It's not, I assure you. It looks like it, But it's not supposed to be. Or is it? We can move that back a little bit. It moves a bit too. Ooh, I said a little bit. Not the whole way. Is there a little to this? This is 225. Can we little the? Oh yes, we can. It's 221. We can 223 this. I just want a tiny thing. 223. It starts too soon. If we match it with everything else, then it might not be that noticeable. I think I've got to move it over. Trial and error. Oh, that's it. That's the sweet spot. Okay, we got it. We got it. We got it. Yay. Elizabeth said, Pixi the Pixel Magician. Pixel Magician. Oh, my sis was talking about this on her stream today. Storm said it was the one we used on Angry Birds. That's what you were talking about. Silver, the Magician sounds vibrant. Well, thank you. Thank you, Silver. I hope you're having a lovely day today, Jennifer. Thanks, Pixie. My pleasure, Haggai. Wait, that just means parappa with hair? Silver. Because this guy has hair. Parappa already has ears. I mean... Oh, so you didn't even notice that the head moved forward, but it adds a little bit. It adds a little bit. There's a lot of stuff that you're going to do as an animator that people aren't going to notice. But you're going to notice. That's the only thing that matters. As long as you see that it's there and the things that you know no one's going to see, you can leave it out. But we're not at that point yet. This is kind of a, I say simplistic. I know there's a lot of files. We're at the simplistic part. So we've got the head moving forwards. We've got the O. Do I want it to move back? We could have it move back a little bit. Let's just paste it in reverse. Oh. So that would happen around here. Huh. That would... Yeah, that's it. Oh. Boom, boom. So if it's going down, we can whip out the graph if we can't tell where it goes down at. Head goes down. Let's pop that over. Not parappa. Yeah. That's it, Elizabeth. We'll just go with that. Do you know not parappa? Pull the head down a little bit. We might change this later. We'll see. Hello, did I say down? Did that go up? Do you want to try again? Down. We'll make it squish there and then it goes up. Pull it. Maybe don't pull the head up too much. So wherever we pull the head down or pull it up with position, always doing things in sequence first. The squash doesn't come without things moving up or down. So technically I could have done the position first, but I knew what I wanted the rotation to do. But now that we've made the position come down and the position come up, this is like the bouncing ball. All the animators out there, do you remember that bouncing ball? This is back to that. So now that we've got the position going up and down, once I've done this whole line, we're going to go to scale, do a fake squash and stretch. That's what we're after. Bum, bum. You can make that hold and then it's got to come back to normal. Bum, ba, ba. Not sure about this. See what happens. Oh. I like, it's just this one does too much. So maybe if we don't make it, whoa, if we don't make it go too far, that might be better. Might be better. Ooh, okay. Boom, boom. That's good, but we don't need it to ease in because that's kind of changing the speed of it. We do want it a bit faster. Don't have it tilt that much. Have a little bit of a tilt, but not too much. Boom, boom, bum. Cool. Do we need this? Let's see. Back to the start. Let's check. Boom. Wow. Oh. Yaddy. Cool. Can you explain ease in and ease out? Yes, I can. So, oh gosh, I want to make like a little thingy about ease in, ease out, and the rest of it. So, ease in in this sense, because we're not looking at a bunch of frames, we're seeing it with a graph. When something is easing in, it means it slows its way in and then it goes. And if we have it easing out, it will slow its way out. So, for example, let's do this with the head because I think there might be a really good look at this. I'm going to save this. I'm going to flatten it out. When we said fatten, we meant flatten. Okay. I'm going to isolate the head so we can take a look at ease in and ease out. Let's put this on a linear. She says. Linear. Okay, there we go. Gonna get my B and my N to make sure it doesn't go beyond this frame. And let's make it a little bit easier for you to see. I'm gonna make this really dramatic as well so you can tell what's happening. Okay, right now we've got linear. Should I make it go faster? Here we go. Right now we've got linear. It's just going straight to this place. There's no speed, there's no slow down, there's no anything. It just goes straight there. I think the only thing that does that is like a robot. You know, like when it's going to pick up something, it has no speed in, no slow down, nothing. But if we want to add an ease in, let's say we click this side and we're going to add an ease in. I'm going to show it to you from this way and then we'll go back to the graph. If we right click this keyframe, go to keyframe assistant and click easy ease, we've been given a little curve. You can see the curve as a hill, or actually maybe a hill might be a good example or whatever seems to work for you. But this is our hill. At the top of the hill, imagine, you remember when you were younger? I feel like we've all had this experience. We were on the hill, we were at the top, it was a steep drop. We'd be like, oh, okay, I'm going down. You know, you got your legs are like, you know, you're trying to like go down, but not too fast. This is us here. We're like, oh yeah, okay, I'm going, okay. Wah! And then because there's a drop, the steeper the drop, you're like, whoa! It's like you're on one of the slides. You're on a slide and it's just like, wow, fast. So the bit that is straight, let me get this bit so we can get that example. This bit is going to go slow. This bit's going to go fast because it's a steep drop. And because this is round again, it's going to go slow again. So, because she's an actor. From the top, my arm's going to do the motion. Slow, slow, slow. Fast, 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 fast. Slow, slow, slow. Does that help? What's your favorite part about animating? Excuse me. Favorite? Oh, thank you. Look at you with the English. With English is English. Thank you, Elizabeth. You know, I used to write favorite and it told me that I wrote it wrong. And I was like, what do you mean? And I was like, I'm sure there's a U in it. Because we were not given a good grade if we weren't putting the thing in. I think my favorite part is seeing it all come together. Because in the beginning, you only have your head's example. You know what you want it to look like. Oh, hello. Was there a snap? Wait a sec. Oh. Hold on. Let's either add a ease in on that ourselves or move it back. Let me see if I can tweak this. I don't think we need this keyframe. I'm just going to move this over. Oh, I took out a keyframe, didn't I? I didn't put it back. Yay. I think my favorite part about animating is seeing your vision come to life. Is that the bit that I needed? I don't think it is, you know. Oh, it's the rotate, my bad. Yeah, because in the beginning, you know what you want it to look like, but it's not really there yet. And you've seen it. Like when you're seeing stuff in your head, it's like a memory. It's there, but it's not really there. but there's a sweet spot in your animation where you see it finally looking like the thing that you wanted. I think that's my favorite part. Have you always used After Effects for animating, or have you used other programs in the past? What makes After Effects the best for you? Oh, Elizabeth, yes. That's a good question. I don't know what I had here before. I think I'm missing something. Let me... Gonna have to add... Oh, I remember what I had. We had an easy ease. That was the whole point. Whole point of the convo. That's not our last frame anymore. I've used other animating programs. Back in the day when we had Flash. Yeah. I remember I used to do stuff on Flash. But I was more of a 3D animator. But then I think it's ironic. I haven't been using After Effects that long, but your skills are transferable, I've noticed. So if you know how to do something somewhere, you'll know how to do it in all the other places. You've got the same, the component is you. So if you know how to do stop frame animation, the same thing's going to work in any animating program you use, which is very useful because you'll know about timing and spacing and what will help you get the result that you're after. Well, I think in the last year, gosh, I think maybe the last 2 years, I've actually been using After Effects. I've not used After Effects that long at all. But lately it's been awesome because I've been doing a lot of cutesy 2D images. And I was like, oh, you know, I want to animate them. What's the best program for that? And it's like, oh, you know, I have After Effects. Let me look into this. And I think if you saw my last, I'm going to cut this down, by the way. This is too long for what I need. Oh, unless, hold on. Let's leave it. We might tweak it later. We'll leave it. We'll leave it. But after this, we're going to go up and start dealing with the rest of the face. So we can, oh no, we've got to do the scale. We got to do the scale. Oh, we got a lot of stuff to cover. We got a lot of stuff. Don't get distracted, Pixi. We got a lot of stuff to cover. I'm just going to press U so I can see everything. I'm going to press S and then I'm going to press U. But I found that on the last Adobe Live that I did, I was doing a Twitch animated emote. And the emote, since everyone can have an animated emote now, I was like, oh, you know what? After Effects is really good at animating as well. It can do everything pretty much. I was like, oh, you know, it's really good at animating. And I had done a few animations in it and I got faster and faster over time. And it's honestly my go-to. Once I prepare all of my files in Photoshop, it is literally my go-to for connecting everything. Plus, one useful thing about doing your animations in After Effects, if you... One sec. If you had brought in your Photoshop file, like I tend to do, make something in Photoshop, save the file as a Photoshop file, and then import the Photoshop file. If you need to tweak anything, you can. It's connected and it will just update. It's really lovely. Nice graph editor. Thanks, Elizabeth. Uma, back in the day. I remember the good old days. Remember when it was grey? Uma said, I'm working in After Effects right now. Haven't for so long. The camera's confusing me. Wait, what do you mean? Oh, are you working with the camera? Are you using a camera in After Effects? I don't know if I have. Working along with Pixi. Yeah, Uma, get them glasses on. I'm wearing contacts. Does that count? So the head goes down. So that means that there's a squash. The squash happens for a long time. I don't want it to happen at the same time as the movement. I want the movement to happen first and then let it squash. We could probably make it squash a bit more. And then have it stretch. One of these don't work. Let's find out what it is. The rotate doesn't seem to work with this, so I'm going to get rid of that. that was really nice. So because I like this bit here, I'm just gonna cut the scale here. Squish, and then it should go up. Nice. That's good, but we probably have one keyframe too many. We probably don't need this one, so let's get rid of that. Hey, there we go. Yeah, using the camera. Oh. Robert said the technique is the same, but the program does it in different ways sometimes. Oh, for sure, Robert. Oh, absolutely. Sometimes you might find that one program can get to a solution you're after faster than another one. Without naming names, I remember looking at, I've been using one program for at least 12 years, and you have to make everything yourself pretty much. If you're rigging or anything like that, you have to make it yourself. And then I was using another program, and they're like, oh, just click one button, and it's like, blasphemy. Oh, what do you mean? I was like, oh. You do your animating in Photoshop as well? Oh, you know what? I seen that Photoshop can animate as well. I want to dive more into that because that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. You're still learning After Effects? Haven't tried importing a PSD file in it yet? Darina, when you do, I tell you, life-changing. That's great, but it's too slow. Let me speed this up. It is life-changing because everything that you've done stays where it's supposed to be. That's great, but it's too slow. Probably need to move this too. Oh, we're almost there. Almost. That can be slow. The rest has to be fast. Okay, cool. Ready to speed everything? Speed it up, baby, speed it up, they shouted. Okay, so we got the head turn. We got the ding. Wow. Right, next. Let's hustle this bustle. Let us hustle. Head is done. What I need to look at is the face. So we've got this. And then I want... I've got that. I'm just going to move the eye a little bit. Whoa. And we're going to keep those eyes out there. In the process of making the transition now. Hey. You're working animating mostly in mostly in Francisco. I was about to say, wait, hold on. In Fresco. Ooh, this is enlightening because you mainly work in Fresco. That's really cool, Voodoo Val. You want to learn how to animate with Fresco? I saw some really cool stuff in Fresco, and I was like, oh, I really want to. You like desktop PS and your shortcuts? That one button magic. Yep. Nice that it's such a nice addition to Fresco, the animation. So is the animation in Fresco new? Was it always there, or they just added it? I want the eye to move, but not that much. So I like this middle ground that they've given me. Let me go for that now. So we've got a tiny bit of eye movement. We can add a blink in there. We've got some blinks, my eyelids. And one of the bits, I had mentioned that I've left something out on purpose. And one of that is the left eyelid. We need a container. It's kind of sticking out. So if we take one of the containers I made from earlier, duplicate it, put it on top of whichever eyelid is giving me a problem, this one. And we can flip the toggle switch and do alpha container. So now it's within it, which is definitely what we want. We have to do the same to the left eye as well, actually. Oh, left eyelid. Are you that? Oh, it's not the eyelid, it's the eye. Left pupil. Right, let's make a container that's actually going to work for this one. Or just pull it in, I suppose. We could. Let's get rid of this, duplicate the other container. Gotta move it so I can see where the eye is, just to make sure it's not acting funky. Okay, there we go. Perfect. So it can blink, and we need it to open its eyes. Let's grab all of these so it actually moves where we need it to, duplicate it, move it back. Actually, we could do that later. I'm just gonna cut it for now. Cool. So now we've got that. Let's go to our scale. Add the scale on. Pixi's aware of the time. Let's pull this up. Have the eyelids come down. Put an easy ease on them, which means they're gonna slow on their way down. And then paste the open. So now we've got a blink. See you later, lovely. So now we've got a blink in there. And then we need another to be like, oh. So let me duplicate all of this. Make what easier? I'm curious. What are you talking about? This is actually fine how it was. I'm just going to grab all of these, drag it out. Not that slow. And then the face. Ooh, we got this. Boom. Oh. Dun dun. So now let's scroll back down, go to the pupil driver. Pupil's good where it is, but from here, I need it to look towards the front. So now he's looking towards us. Keep his eyes on us. Nice. And then let's add one of our mouths as well. Oh, you what? We can add animation onto the mouths to make them do more or things like this. Wait, is this Cousin Angst the unimpressed? I mean, does look kind of unimpressed. There's a little bit. But even though I didn't add anything in between, our eyes have kind of tweened it for us. Have a good day, Silver. Thank you so much for popping in. And then I don't want this mouth after that. I want the... I'm doing an action. And the face is going to come back by then. Give us the smile. There we go. Hi, Usha. Welcome to the stream, lovely. And then we can take that back to the normal blank mouth. Grab both of those, duplicate them, drag them to the top, drag them to the back. Cool. Did a mouth animation, barely did anything for it. How do the mouths work? Do you have many mouths with different sounds and expressions, or do you change them throughout the animation? So that will depend per animation. For this one, I chose to make 3 different mouths. So there are only pictures of the mouths. So I've got a still mouth, a circle mouth, all individual images, a mouth, a smile. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I have 4 mouths. And then all I've done, normally I would try to make different vowel sounds. If you were lip syncing, I would. But that's not necessarily what we need. We're only showing different expressions. So having your different mouth shapes and then just turning off one or stopping one from showing and have the other one show immediately. This is the magician thing. The brain's going to make it seem like something more happened than it really did. Didn't even have to animate it. Just turned one on, turned off the other. But for something more difficult, I'd probably do tweening or things like that. Oh, Usha, nothing is difficult. Everything is new until it's not new anymore. But I'd say undertake small things. It looks complicated only because I've got a lot of layers. The smirk is sweet. Thank you. It looks complicated only because there's a lot of files in there, but everything looks complicated in the beginning. So if this is something that you want to do, I'd say either you can take the files I've given you or start with something simple. Start with 2 shapes and try to play around with them. And then after you've played around with them for a little bit, you'll realize what you are able to do. And then you might look into, oh, okay, if this is what I can do, can I do this? You'll end up trying to look for things and finding out if XYZ. How do you manage shoes files? What do you mean? When you say manage, what do you mean by manage, Elizabeth? I'm gonna have the head go up. This is an animator trick. Maybe in one of the streams I'll have to look at animation important keynotes. When things go down, let's say the head, when something goes down, everything else has to go up. When you do that, it kind of adds a cartoony step to everything. So the head, when we move down, our features stay where they are. But if you want it to be a cartoon character, head comes down. Imagine it had jowls. The jowls would follow afterwards. That kind of thing. This makes me... So we got that. And then we've got it going down. Have it go up. Might not need to go up for that long. And then it's got to go back down to the center. Ooh, not down there, but down here. There we go. And we've got something that we don't need, it turns out. What happens if we get rid of this? No, that's all up. That's all up head. We don't need a bunch of up head. Let me tweak some of these. That's a bit slow. That's probably what the problem is. And then we need it to stay. Put it on a linear so it stops moving. Let's put that right there. And it's still trying its best to do some extra movement. If you ever have this, just hop into your graph editor and make it linear. And if it still doesn't want to go, because it's a special potato, we can just get rid of some files. Oh, I see. I'm not sure why you've got that problem, babe, but all right. Oh. What a guan here. What a guan. There's always something. I'm just going to make it stepped. Step means it's still. I might want to do more things with it later, but for now, we'll go with it. Create the files or layers, sort the layers or group, store the files. Actually, that's what doing it in Photoshop helps you do. So because I did it in Photoshop, all of my layers are where they should be. Any groups that I made would actually stay. Which I think is freaking awesome. It's so cool. And then I could choose to go up to the Dino layers, which has all of the layers individually there for me if I want to look at them. That's cool, but there's a bit of a weird jostle. What I might have to do, I might have to separate these because they're acting up. I've separated them, which has given me a little bit more control. So this means now if I wanted to do something with one, I can without having to worry too much about if the other's going to follow suit. Cool. It's nice to have a little bit more control sometimes. If we had it go down, then came back up, I think that would be best. Down and up again. There we go. Have it go back the other way. Need it to stay where it is for a tiny bit. There. Ooh. There we go. There we go. I've never used this graph feature before. Any tips for beginners doing this step for the first time? Yes, actually. I'd say when you're doing the graph, animate your things normally as you would by doing keyframes in the places that you need the keyframes to appear. So for instance, when I did a keyframe on the front, wasn't necessarily doing anything with easy ease or anything like that. And then after that, if you've noticed, oh, maybe I want this to speed in or slow down, or it slows down, but it doesn't slow down as much as I'd like it to. What you can do is go into the graph editor, and I think playing around with it is best because you'll feel a little bit more familiar with it. So if you click and drag it, you'll notice, oh, okay, if I move it up and down, this moves it left and right. Cool. If I grab this one, oh, this means it's going to move really far down. Do I want it to move really far down? It allows you to play around with a huge playground, which gives you a lot more advanced controls. Gives you a lot of advanced controls. I feel like Pixi's showing me a whole new magical world AE I never knew existed. Wait! Oh no! Usha, you jumped in like, we're technically near the end, so I've got to hustle my bustle. I do. Let me go back to the pupils and make sure the eyes move a little bit later. I think what I'll do is make sure the next one we do is just a tiny bit simpler. Those eyes are in the wrong place. Welcome, Jack. How are you, lovely? Ooh. We've gone from animating the head to making it sort of look like it's 3D. So it looks like it's moving around the head when it's not really. I want another blink. So we have a blink, but we need another. Let's take the eyelids and the eye, grab them, move them a little bit higher up and over. And now it will loop. Welcome, Gareth. So technically, we've got maybe about 3 more minutes left to make it look like the hat has turned. We're going to just move the stamp over. And anytime we need the head to turn, we'll turn the stamp. Make sure it doesn't move too soon. A little bit fast. Could be useful for other things. There we go. And then it goes up. So at this point, all we're doing is animating. We're just animating. And then down. Not too far. And then back up. Can make it go a little bit closer together. I need to pick a smaller project, methinks. And the same with the rest of it, really. Let me open our hat. I do want it to look like the eyebrows gone up. So because we did this in Photoshop, we actually have we can see the pen tool already. So I've just gone in, grabbed the mask path, and I'm going to pull this, whoa, not the whole thing. I'm going to pull this one up to make it look like, it's like, who? You did what? Not too high, because that's looking a bit dodgy. And then we can animate it back into place. Nice. 1 more minute left. See what we can do in this 1 more minute. The last thing, if we go to the hair, select all of the pieces of the hair, click rotation, we can rotate the hair up and then rotate the hair down and put it back into place. Boop, 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 boop. And to make this simpler, once we've animated everything, we'll probably just go back duplicate it and flip it around, but that will allow us to make it sort of look like it's doing more than it really has done. Great for when the hair needs to bounce towards the movement. And we carry on like that, but I'm aware of the time. Thank you so much for having me on today. Next time, I'm going to make sure it's a simpler thing so we can squeeze it into 1 hour. But I hope, especially at the very beginning, if you joined at the beginning, that you grab the file, that you've played around, but there's more to come. I'll see you guys later. Bye!